The rain hammered down on the windshield, each drop a tiny explosion in the quiet of the night. Special Agent Daniel Harper gripped the steering wheel, his knuckles white, as he navigated the slick suburban streets. His pulse hadn't slowed since the call came in an anonymous tip, cryptic and urgent, about his daughter, Lily, being watched. After 17 years chasing financial criminals for the FBI, Daniel knew better than to dismiss a gut feeling, and right now his gut was screaming. He pulled into his driveway, the headlights catching a fleeting shadow near the neighbor's porch. His eyes narrowed. This wasn't just a hunch anymore. Daniel had moved to Willow Creek 6 months ago, seeking a quiet haven for Lily, his 16-year-old daughter, after years of upheaval. His job demanded long hours, high stakes, and a constant guard against threats. But here, in this manicured neighborhood of cul-de-sacs and picket fences, he'd hoped for peace. Lily deserved normalcy, a place to study, laugh with friends, maybe even dream of college without looking over her shoulder. But from the moment they'd unpacked, Evelyn Whitaker, the self-appointed guardian of Willow Creek's Homeowners Association, had made it clear she had other plans. Evelyn, or the overseer as Lily had dubbed her, was a wiry woman in her late 50s with a smile as sharp as a paper cut. She'd appeared on their doorstep the day they moved in, clipboard in hand, her eyes scanning their modest colonial like a hawk circling prey. "Welcome to Willow Creek, Mr. Harper," she'd said, her voice dripping with false warmth. "I'm sure you'll find our community standards elevating." She'd handed him a thick binder of HOA rules, each page a testament to her obsession with control. Daniel had thanked her politely, his years of de-escalating tense situations kicking in, but he'd felt the warning in her gaze: comply, or else. Trouble started small. A notice arrived because their recycling bin lingered curbside 20 minutes past pickup. Another claimed their front door's shade of navy blue was unapproved by a halftone. Then came a citation about the wind chimes Lily had hung on the porch too disruptive to the neighborhood's ambience. Each notice bore Evelyn's looping signature, delivered with a knock and that same brittle smile. "Rules keep us civil, Mr. Harper," she'd say, her tone implying he was anything but. Daniel swallowed his irritation. He'd faced down money launderers and corrupt COs. He could handle a petty bureaucrat. But Lily wasn't as patient. "She's a control freak, Dad," she'd fume, tossing the latest notice onto the kitchen counter. "Why don't you just tell her back off?" He tried, gently at first. "Evelyn, I appreciate your dedication, but these violations feel excessive," he'd said one evening, catching her as she measured his mailbox with a tape measure. She'd straightened, her lips pursing. "Excessive? Mr. Harper, I'm protecting property values. Perhaps federal agents aren't accustomed to community accountability." The jab at his job stung, but he let it slide. Patience was his armor. He'd dealt with worse. Then Lily got a summer job at Brood Awakening, a coffee shop downtown. Her shifts often ran late, and she'd bike home under streetlights, her backpack bouncing. Daniel worried she was still a kid, navigating a world he knew too well was full of shadows, but he trusted her. Evelyn, however, saw opportunity. A new notice arrived, citing unauthorized nocturnal activity by a minor, claiming Lily's late returns violate curfew bylaws. Daniel called a meeting at Evelyn's pristine Tudor-style home, sitting across from her in a living room that smelled of lavender and judgment. "Lily's working, not loitering," he explained, keeping his voice even. "Her schedule isn't subject to HOA rules." Evelyn leaned forward, her eyes glinting. "Work, you say? At all hours with those unsavory types dropping her off? That motorcycle I heard last week was disruptive." Daniel blinked. The motorcycle was Lily's co-worker, a 40-year-old barista named Carla, who drove a hybrid sedan. He clarified, but Evelyn waved him off. "I'm responsible for this neighborhood's safety, Mr. Harper. Your daughter's active ties raise concerns." The conversation ended with her handing him another fine, her fingers lingering on the paper as if daring him to challenge her. That's when things turned sinister. One night, As Daniel waited up for Lily, he noticed Evelyn's porch light flick on a moment Lily's bike rounded the corner. A silhouette moved behind the curtains, steady and deliberate. At first, he chalked it up to coincidence. His job made him see threats everywhere, but then Lily came to him, her voice low. "Dad, I think Evelyn's following me. I saw her car outside the coffee shop yesterday, just parked there. And this morning at the bus stop, I swear she was taking pictures." Her hands trembled as she hugged her knees on the couch. Daniel's stomach twisted. He'd seen fear in her eyes before, after her mother's death 3 years ago, and he'd sworn she'd never feel it again. He acted methodically. Years of investigative work had taught him to trust EVY Denke over emotion. He installed a discreet security camera on their porch, angled to capture their property, but with a partial VYEW of the street legal, unobtrusive, defensible. For a week, he re-VYEU'd the footage daily. What he saw turned his blood cold. Evelyn wasn't just watching Lily. She was hunting her. The camera caught her white SUV trailing Lily to the bus stop at dawn. Evelyn's phone raised to snap photos. It recorded her circling brood awakening during Lily's shifts, parked just out of sight, her notebook open. One clip showed her standing across the street as Carla dropped Lily off, scribbling furiously as Lily unlocked the front door. This wasn't HOA zeal. This was obsession. Daniel confronted her the next evening, catching her in her SUV outside their house, her camera lens glinting in the dusk. He approached slowly, his FBI badge clipped to his belt, his voice calm but unyielding. "Evelyn, we need to talk about your surveillance of my daughter. It's making her feel unsafe, and it's crossing legal lines." She lowered her window an inch, her face a mask of indignation. "Surveillance. I'm documenting violations, Mr. Harper. As HOA president, it's my duty. Your daughter's associations are questionable. Did you know she's been seen with that Carter kid? His family's fence is non-compliant." Daniel's jaw tightened. The Carter kid was Lily's lab partner, a shy 15-year-old whose family had no fence at all. "Evelyn," he said, leaning closer, "HOA rules don't give you the right to stalk a teenager. I'm asking you to stop. Don't make this official." Her smile was ice. "Official? Are you threatening me? I know people, Mr. Harper. The sheriff's a friend." She rolled up her window and peeled away, Leah VYing him in a cloud of exhaust. The next morning, an HOA email landed in his inbox, accusing him of hostile conduct and proposing a due law 500 fine. Worse, it referenced Lily's work hours and her frequent VY sighters, details only someone tailing her could know. Daniel's patience snapped. He tried diplomacy. Now he'd protect his daughter. He filed a police report that afternoon, attaching the camera footage and Evelyn's email. He also called his super VY SOAR, Agent Torres, outlining the situation. "Dan, you're sure this isn't just a nosy neighbor?" Torres asked. Daniel's voice was steel. "She's stalking my kid, Mike. I've got proof." The local police, initially skeptical, sharpened their focus when they saw Daniel's credentials. They had VY, set a restraining order, and a judge granted it within hours, barring Evelyn from coming within 100 feet of Lily or their home, except to access her own property. Daniel felt a flicker of relief, but it didn't last. Evelyn retaliated with venom. She called an emergency HOA meeting, rallying the board to address the Harper family's disruption. Daniel attended, bringing Torres as a witness, his calm facade hiding the fury beneath. The meeting room buzzed with tension as Evelyn stood, her voice shrill. "This man is abusing his authority to silence me," she declared, pointing at Daniel. "I have a right to monitor this neighborhood. His daughter's BHA VY or threatens our standards." Daniel waited, then rose, his presence commanding silence. He connected his laptop to the projector and played the footage. Evelyn's SUV trailing Lily, her camera flashing, her notebook filled with timestamps of Lily's movements. Gasps rippled through the room. "This isn't about rules," Daniel said, his voice low and steady. "This is about a grown woman fixating on my 16-year-old daughter. As her father, I've taken legal steps. I suggest you consider what's happening here." The board members shifted uncomfortably, their eyes darting to Evelyn, who clutched her clipboard like a shield. She stormed out, vowing to sue, but her defiance crumbled the next day. Daniel had tipped off the police about her patterns, and when Evelyn followed Lily to the bus, stopped ignoring the restraining order officers were waiting. From his porch, Daniel watched as she argued, her arms flailing, her face a mask of outrage. The officers cuffed her, her protests echoing as they guided her to the squad car. His phone buzzed moments later. "Harper, it's Detective Ruiz," the voice said. "We've got Whitaker in custody. Found a journal in her car, detailed logs of your daughter's routines, photos, even some of her trash. We're charging her with stalking, harassment, and violating the order." Relief hit Daniel like a wave, but it was tempered by Lily's shaken expression when he told her. "She went through my trash," she whispered, hugging herself. "What's wrong with her, Dad?" He didn't have an answer, only a promise to keep her safe. The fallout was swift. The HOA board stripped Evelyn of her presidency, citing conduct unbecoming. Her employer, a property management firm, suspended her without pay. At her hearing 3 weeks later, Daniel sat in the courtroom, watching as Evelyn's attorney negotiated a plea. She'd admit to misdemeanor stalking, pay a due law $4,000 fine, serve 9 months of house arrest, and undergo counseling. The kicker: she had to sell her house and leave Willow Creek within 60 days. As the judge read the terms, Evelyn's composure cracked. She turned, catching Daniel's eye, her face a storm of defiance and shame. For a moment, he thought she'd speak hurl some final accusation, but her shoulders slumped and tears spilled down her cheeks. She'd built her world on control, and now it was gone, dismantled by her own obsession. Daniel felt no satisfaction, only exhaustion. He left the courthouse, the rain still falling, and drove home to Lily. That night, they sat on the porch, the wind chimes singing softly. "Think she'll really leave?" Lily asked, her voice small. Daniel nodded. "She has to, and if she doesn't, I'll make sure she does." Lily leaned against him, and for the first time in weeks, she smiled. The shadow was lifting, but Daniel knew he'd never stop watching the street, not for Evelyn, but for the next threat. It was who he was, and for Lily, he'd always be ready. If you were the one in this story, how would you react? Would you stand up and fight back, or accept the unreasonable pressure and control from the HOA? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with more people. Your small action gives us the motivation to keep bringing you more intense and engaging stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.